Hi, everybody, and welcome back for another exciting week of Español. We are moving on to Chapter 7 this week, titled De Compras. So, this is an exciting chapter. A lot of people enjoy shopping and thus generally enjoy this chapter. It's also not terribly difficult in terms of content. So, just so you're aware, our learning objectives of this chapter, you should be able to identify articles of clothing and accessories, communicate about shopping experiences, describe ongoing and habitual actions and feelings in the past tense using the imperfect tense, utilize stressed possessive adjectives and pronouns in written and spoken speech, demonstrate understanding of irregular preterite verbs, and create sentences using direct object pronouns. So we're going to take a look at all of these things. So there's a bunch of vocab in this chapter, lots of clothing items. We're not going to take the time to go over every single one. You can see tons of things that are labeled here for you. Some words that students oftentimes have trouble pronouncing. The word for jacket in Spanish is a chaqueta. Chaqueta. A tie is a traje. Jeans are los vaqueros. An umbrella is el paraguas. El sombrero is a hat. Los aretes are earrings. A necklace in Spanish, it looks like it would be collar, but it's el collar. As you keep moving over here, you have another word for cap or hat, and this usually refers to like a baseball hat. It's la gorra de béisbol. Okay. Some other important things that you might need: el suéter, a sweater. Las botas are boots, zapatos are shoes, and high heels are zapatos de tacón alto. Okay, so just so you know there. So just some important vocab words. You may be asked to do something like this week in MindTap, where I'm going to give you a phrase, and number one, it tells us es la ropa que llevamos para nadar. So it gives you a phrase here, and you have to match it with its definition. So this would be the clothing that we wear in order to swim. We would need like a bathing suit for that, probably. El traje de baño, a bathing suit. Number two, son zapatos informales que muchas personas llevan en el verano. So these are informal shoes that a lot of people wear in the summertime. What might those be? Think about that. Number three, son pantalones informales, informal pants. What might those be? Yeah. And number four, incluye una chaqueta y unos pantalones o una falda. Yeah. It includes a jacket and some pants or a skirt. What might that be? So think about those and give these a try. All right, now that you've had a second to try, on number two, informal shoes that a lot of people wear in the summer, those would have to be sandals, sandalias, letter G. Number three, informal pants would have to be jeans, vaqueros. And number four, an outfit that includes a jacket and pants or a skirt for ladies, that's going to be a suit, el traje, letter A. Okay, so in this chapter, we're going to be talking about the irregular preterite. Before we do that, let's make sure you know your regular preterite. For an AR verb, remember that we drop the AR and we add the appropriate endings, aste, o, amos, astes, or aron. For an ER or an IR verb, we drop those endings and add back iste, io, imos, istes, or ieron. So there are a lot of verbs in the preterite tense that are irregular, and the bad thing about this is that you just have to memorize these. It is the best way to learn, and it definitely takes some time. So they're not difficult necessarily, you just have to memorize. An example, ir, the verb ir, to go, in the preterite is irregular. So nunca fui, F-U-I. Ir becomes F-U-I, like no possible reason why. That's just what it becomes. Nunca fui a la playa este verano. I never went to the beach this summer. Irregular preterite verbs also don't have a stem. So estar, the stem of it changes to estuve, E-S-T-U-V. And you end up with yo estuve en clase esta mañana. I was in class this morning. Now, notice, so Irregular preterite verbs have a different stem than their normal verb, and they don't have accents. So fui, notice it's not F-U-I with an accent, it's just F-U-I. Okay, here's a whole list of every irregular verb in Spanish, all of the irregular preterite ones that you will need. And the best thing to do is just to memorize them. Okay, that being said, I am going to give you some helpful tools and tricks that should help you be able to remember these, but just so you know, these are here and there for you to study and to memorize. So let's get started. I'm going to put this in song form for you. You know I love my songs. And each line has a theme. Okay, so our first line has ir and ser, which actually is the same conjugation in the preterite. That's why I put them together with the slash. They have the exact same conjugations. You just have to look at the context to see if you're saying I went or I was. So ir and ser, dar and ver all have this same category in common. We refer to that group as verbos cortos. They are short verbs. They're shortened majorly, so we nickname them short verbs. The verbs hacer, to do or to make, querer, to want, and venir, to come, are part of what we refer to as the I group preterite because their stem receives an I. Saber, to know information, poder, to be able to, and poner, to put or to place, are part of what we refer to as the U group. Decir, to say or to tell, traer, to bring, and conducir, to drive, are part of what we refer to as the J group. And tener, to have, andar, to walk, and estar, to be, are what we refer to as part of the UV group. Okay, so each line has a theme: verbos cortos, I group, U group, J group, or UV group. So it's important you know what these mean. And as we look at their conjugations, you'll understand why I've separated them this way. So, starting with the verbos cortos, ir, ser, dar, and ver all are shortened. Ir is shortened to fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuistes, fueron. So I went or I was, you went or you were, he or she went or he or she was, so on and so forth. Say these with me. Fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuistes, fueron. Okay, dar, the verb that means to give, is also shortened in a very similar format. Here you get di, diste, dio, dimos, distes, and dieron. So I gave, you gave, he or she gave, we gave, you all gave, and they gave. These are your conjugations of dar. Now notice, if you change the D to a V, you end up with V, viste, vio, vimos, vistes, vieron. So dar and ver have basically the exact same conjugation. You're just changing the D to a V. So ir and ser, ir is to go, ser is to be, becomes fui, dar becomes di, and ver becomes vi. I always tell students, if you can just memorize the yo form of each one of these verbs, you can kind of unlock all the others because you know your preterite endings. Iste, io, imos, istes, ieron. Should be pretty easy for you to unlock the others, but if you can just remember the yo form. So if we were coming up with the yo form for this line, we would say fui, di, vi. Fui, di, vi. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Okay, so those were the verbos cortos, fui, di, vi. Next, we're moving on to refer to the I group. And these have their own set of endings, which you can see I've included here for you in green. Iste, o, imos, istes, ieron. Very similar to your normal preterite endings anyway. As you look at these, the stem changes to receive an I, which is why we call it the I group. Hacer, to do or to make, becomes is. Querer, to want, becomes quis. And venir becomes vin. So as you're conjugating hacer, hice, hiciste, hizo. Notice the C changes to a Z here for pronunciation purposes. That is another irregular, which is why I've underlined it for you. So hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicistes, hicieron. Okay, so I made, you made, he or she made, so on and so forth. Querer, quise, quisiste, quiso, quisimos, quisistes, quisieron. So, quise, I wanted. Quisiste, you wanted. Quiso, he or she wanted, so on and so forth. And then venir, vine, I came. Viniste, you came. Vino, he or she came. Vinimos, we came. Vinistes, you all in Spain came. And vinieron, they came. Okay, notice we're using the I group endings for all of these, and they do have their own stem. Ise, quise, vine. So try to remember the yo form. So one more time. Fui, di, vi. Fui, di, vi. Ise, quise, vine, yo. Fui, di, vi. Ise, quise, vine, yo. Say it with me. Fui, di, vi. Ise, quise, vine, yo. Okay, so you have those. Next, we're going to take a look at the U group and also the UV group. Both of these use the same endings here as your I group. Iste, o, imos, istes, hieron. So that's pretty easy. So far, the I group, U group, and UV group all use the same endings. The verbos cortos you have to memorize, and the J group have their own ending. So let's look at these, the purple ones, the U group and the UV group. Okay? So as we start with the U group, we have saber, to know information, which becomes sup, S-U-P, poder, to be able to, which becomes pud, P-U-D, and poner, to put or to place, which becomes pus, P-U-S. Okay, you also have your endings for these up here. Iste, o, imos, istes, hieron. So when you apply these to your stems, you end up with supe, supiste, supo, supimos, supistes, supieron. Pude, pudiste, pudo, pudimos, pudistes, pudieron. Puse, pusiste, puso, pusimos, pusistes, and pusieron. Okay, so again, if you can remember the yo form, supe, pude, puse. Supe, pude, puse. All right, so again, going back to our song here. Fui, di, vi. Ise, quise, vine, yo. Supe, pude, puse, yo. Say it with me. Fui, di, vi. Ise, quise, vine, yo. Supe, pude, puse, yo. Okay, so that takes care of those. Let's look at our UV group. Here you have tener, to have, which stem becomes tuv. Andar, whose stem becomes anduv, and estar, whose stem becomes estuv. Same endings as before, iste, o, imos, istes, hieron. And in this case, you end up with tuve, tuviste, tuvo, tuvimos, tuvistes, tuvieron. Anduve, anduviste, anduvo, anduvimos, anduvistes, anduvieron. Estuve, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos, estuvistes, estuvieron. And again, if you can just remember the yo form, tuve, anduve, estuve. So going back to our song one more time. Fui, di, vi, ise, quise, vine, yo, supe, pude, puse, yo, and then we're going to skip the J group for now. Tuve, anduve, estuve, yo. Notice the I group, the U group, and the UV group use the same set of endings. Iste, o, imos, istes, hieron. If you can memorize the yo form and memorize these endings, you can unlock all the others without killing your brain. Okay? Same with the verbos cortos. They're their own thing. Gotta memorize those. The J group also has their own ending, which is almost identical to the endings of the I, U, and UV groups. The difference here is that instead of hieron, it's just eron, and this is a pronunciation thing because of the J, which I'm going to show you in a second. So not terribly bad, just that final right box that is affected. Here we have decir, to say or to tell. The stem here becomes di. We have traer, to bring. The stem here becomes tra. And conducir, to drive. The stem here becomes condu. Okay? Again, you have your endings. Iste, o, imos, istes, and eron. Not hieron, but eron. So slap these on there. Dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, Dijistes, dijeron. Not dijeron, which just sounds weird. Dijeron. It's just a pronunciation thing. They took the I out for that reason. Traje, trajiste, trajo, trajimos, trajistes, trajeron. Conduje, condujiste, condujo, condujimos, condujistes, condujeron. Okay, so again, we've now come full circle. We can sing our song. Fui, di, vi. Hice, quise, vine yo. Supe, pude, puse yo. Dije, traje, conduje yo. Tuve, anduve, estuve yo. One more time, say it with me. Fui, di, vi. Hice, quise, vine yo. Supe, pude, puse yo. Dije, traje, conduje yo. Tuve, anduve, estuve yo. Okay, so now, again, if you were in person with me, I would make you do a little march where you get to memorize these. So I want you just to listen here to what's happening in this video.
Action! Action! Attention! Live, 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 live. Wait, deep, deep. Wait, deep, deep. He say, video. He say, video. Puse, supe yo. Puse, supe yo. Dije, traje, que tuve yo. Dije, traje, que tuve yo. Tuve yo. Tuve yo. Justo. Preterite. Irregular. Ahora yo te lo pruebo.
Okay, so some interesting phrasing there, but you at least get to experience the song being sung by other people as well, other than just me. Okay, this video is totally silly, but it is going to help you remember. It is all of these things we just went over. Fui, di, vi, hice, quise, vine yo, supe, pude, puse yo, dije, traje, conduje yo, tuve, anduve, estuve yo. It's all of those things, but it's to a different rhythm. It's a different song. It's totally different, and I think it will help you just to see it from a different perspective. So let's take a moment to watch this video as well. We're not going to watch the whole thing, just a few moments to let you get the feel. Okay, here we go.
If you want to learn how to conjugate the irregulars of the preterite, 12 words, remember them. Remember they have stems. You have to practice them. Preterite irregulars. Okay, you need to know the endings and the stem, but they're irregular accents. You don't need them. Eliminate the accents. You don't need no accents. Please don't put no accents. And that's why I'm gon' practice irregulars. Anduvis tutu, Vinis keys poos poot, Sup di tracondu, you're irregular. Anduvis tutu, Vinis keys poos poot, Sup di tracondu, you're irregular. Anduvis tutu, Vinis keys poos poot, Sup di tracondu, you're irregular. Anduvis tutu, Vinis keys poos poot, Sup di tracondu. Andar is undo, estar is estu, tenor change to two, venir vin aser is querer quis, poner poder pus pud, decir traer ditra, conducir condu, oh I acentos. Okay, you need to know the endings and the stem, but they're irregular accents, you don't need them. Eliminate the accents, you don't need no accents. Please don't put no accents, and that's why I'm gon' practice irregulars. Anduvis tutu, Vinis keys poos poot, Sup di tracondu, you're irregular. Anduvis tutu, Vinis keys poos poot, Sup di tracondu, you're irregular. Anduvis tutu, Vinis keys poos poot, Sup di tracondu, you're irregular. Anduvis tutu, Vinis kis pus put, soup di tracondu. One thing I ask of you, don't forget Sarah ear and Darby too. From undo, bestuve to try undo. There are 4 others, but no stem for you. So conjugate them, but no access to. I'll give you a nice beat you could practice too. Practice them even when it's not natural. I mean, it's all irregular. We could first start off with ear and Sarah and finish off with dar and there. There are no stems, these you memorize. Here you go, time to give it a try. Fui se fue, fuimos fueron. Vivi se vio, vimos vieron. Didi se dio, dimos dieron. Irregular done, don't get confused, no accents. Those are the 4. Plus 12. Don't forget it. Iste o. Imos vieron. No acentos. Hey. People, can you see how these words change? You can leave it be, or they will look real strange. Don't leave the ending, now add the stem. You're almost done. I always practice my irregular. Undo this tutu. Vinis keys poos poot.
Okay, so I think you get the idea there of what's happening, okay? I love this video just because it really helps to illustrate how those words change, as they said. So hopefully that helped you. We're going to look at just a couple of examples. Again, we're not going to do all of them, just a few. So number 1 gives you tu and ir, you and to go. We know that ir is part of our very first word in the song, which becomes fui. But we need the to form, which was fuiste. Number 2 gives us ellos and hacer. We know that the stem of hacer becomes is, H-I-C, and then we need the ending to say that they did. If you go back over and look at your endings for your I group, you will see that the ending is I-E-R-O-N, and we're going to say here, hicieron. Hicieron, okay? I want you to take a moment. I want you to pause your audio. This may take you a few minutes, so just take your time. I want you to go down and do numbers 3 through 10. Give as many of these a try as you can, okay? All right, now that you've had a second to try these, I've listed the answers for you here. We're going to talk through them. Number 3, it gives us nosotros and ser. So again, ser was our first word in our song, fui. We need the nosotros form, though, fuimos. Number 4 is a regular verb, Matthew and comer, Matthew to eat. So we're going to take comer, chop off our ER, and add the appropriate ending, io, Matthew comió. Number 5 gives us Dr. Mueller, hablar. And if we want to say that Doctora Mueller hablar, we want to say, it should be he spoke, Dr. Mueller, but I put Doctora, so we're going to go with it. Dr. Mueller spoke. We're going to chop off our AR and hablar and say that Doctora Mueller habló. Okay. Number 6, Señora Davila. It gives us the verb ver here, which means to see. You know, this is one of your irregulars. Fui, di, vi for ver. The yo form was vi, but we're saying that she, Mrs. Davila, saw. So vio. Señor y Señora Hansen, dar. To say that they gave. We know that the yo form of daughter was di, fui, di, vi, right? The they form should be dieron. And of course, you can always go back and access your notes from above to get there. Number 5, nosotros saber. Our stem for saber was sup, S-U-P, and we need the nosotros form, supimos. Number 9, ellos and estar. Our stem for estar was estuv, and we need the ellos form, so we're going to add back ieron, and you get estuvieron. And then last one, Riley and you. Technically, you could use the vosotros form or the ustedes form here. I did the ustedes, but you can do either one. So Riley and you all did. Hacer, the stem becomes is, H-I-C. And then you all did hicieron or hicistes if you want to do the vosotros. Okay? Hopefully you're feeling good about that. And this just takes lots of practice, so don't stress. Speaking of which, if you need more practice, there's a link here to a Conjuguemos site, which is amazing. If you've never done Conjuguemos before, it's like super helpful. And it basically just drills you with these verbs, kind of like multiplication facts, until you have them memorized. And you just do it over and over and over again, and it grades you on how many you get right or wrong, and it times you. So it's very helpful. And it's not for a grade. It's just practice if you want to do it, but pretty cool. Okay. There's an activity like this in MindTap where I've given you like a paragraph with all these mixed together, and you have to fill them out and figure out the right form. So just want to talk to you about these for a sec. Um, let's just read through. It says, hace varios años. It's been a few years ago that I tener una oportunidad fabulosa. So a few years ago, I had an amazing opportunity. Well, tener, we know our stem for tener becomes tuv, T-U-V. I want to say that I had, so I need to add my yo form preterite ending, which for our irregular verbs is an E. So tuve. Hace varios años tuve una oportunidad fabulosa. Constanza Ceruti hacer una expedición al volcán. So we're saying that Constanza Ceruti made an expedition to the volcano. So Constanza in our third person singular box, the él or ella form in this case. And we're going to say that Constanza made, hacer, our stem becomes is, and I should just add my ending right, ico. That is incorrect. If you go back and look at these, you'll recall that this is one of our irregulars where the C changed to a Z. Okay, so you should end up with Constanza Ceruti hizo una expedición al volcán. And yo ir con ella, and I went with her. So yo fui, I went with her. That's the first word of our song. Fui con ella y su grupo. And ser un poco difícil. It was a little bit difficult to comprar las cosas necesarias para la expedición. It was a little bit difficult to buy the things for the expedition. You're saying it was a little difficult. For it, you're using your bottom left box, also known as the he, she, it box. So in this case, we're going to say it was easy. Fue un poco difícil. Okay? Hopefully, you're feeling okay with the irregular preterite so far. Our next grammatical concept in this chapter that is very important are these stressed possessive adjectives, and I love these, okay? So I don't know if you guys ever had siblings or not. I grew up with a little brother, and let's just say that you are fighting over something. Not that you little angels would ever fight with someone you love about something that's yours and not theirs, right? But you want to say that something, no, that is not yours. That is mine, okay? That's a stressed possessive adjective. This is mine, that's yours, and this is ours. Now stay away from my stuff, right? So you learned back in Spanish 1010 in chapter 2 specifically about possessive adjectives. Mi, tu, su, nuestro, vuestro, su, my, yours, his or her, ours, and their. Well, here, the stressed possessive adjectives are super similar to those. They typically go after the noun instead of before, which is the big difference. And these just really stressify that emphasis and that intonation, like mine or yours. You might even translate it like of mine or of yours. So some examples in an unstressed format, I could say that estos son mis guantes. These are my gloves. Okay, but in a stressed situation, esos guantes son míos. Those gloves are mine, or you can just shorten it. Son míos, they're mine, right? It's just a stressed situation. And again, it comes after the noun instead of before. Notice in the unstressed, you have mis guantes, with the possessive adjective mis coming before the noun guantes. But in the stressed situation, the stressed possessive adjective here is coming after the noun. So míos comes after guantes, okay? Another example, es su blusa, it's her blouse, versus es una blusa suya, it's a blouse of hers. Remember, you can also translate these of hers or of his, of mine, etc. Okay, so just a few little things you might need to know here. Whenever you use one of these as a pronoun, a stressed possessive adjective is sometimes preceded by a definite article, by an el, la, los, or las. So, for example, you have to read the whole conversation here for it to make sense, but it says that Silvia no tiene chaqueta. Silvia does not have a jacket, so le doy la mía. So she doesn't have a jacket, so I gave her mine. You can't just say le doy mía, because you gave her, what now? I gave her blank of mine. Well, we're referring back to the jacket, which is feminine singular. So we're using the definite article la here to say I gave her the jacket of mine, or I gave her my jacket. So le doy la mía. Another example, mi camiseta está sucia. My t-shirt is dirty. Préstame una blank. So my t-shirt is dirty. Préstame, let me borrow or lend me. Una tuya, one of yours. So una in this case is an indefinite article that means a or some that refers back to camiseta, which was feminine. So préstame una tuya, let me borrow one of yours. Um, there are some situations where the article is omitted unless there's a choice between items. Like, for example, este sombrero es mío. This hat is mine. But in another situation, este sombrero es el mío y ese es el tuyo. So in this case, there are two hats, and you're specifying, like, hey, this one's mine and that one's yours. Ese es el mío y ese es el tuyo. You're specifying the difference. Don't get too caught up on these guys. Just make sure you know the difference in these and the regular possessive adjectives. An example, this is what you're going to have to do this week. It tells you that es mi falda, and then you've shortened it to es mía. Notice it was mía because we're talking about a falda, which was feminine singular. It does not matter if you're a male or a female. Okay, look here, number one. Son los zapatos de Julia Mayotorne. So these are Julio Mayotorne's shoes. Well, los zapatos belong to this person, which would be in the third person plural box. So we are going to go back and we're going to use the suyo form because we're saying they're of his. And then we have to make it agree with our noun in this case, which is zapatos. So it's going to be suyos instead of just suyo. You have to add an S to make it agree. This ends in OS, that ends in OS, so this is going to end in OS. Okay, look at another example, number two. It says, es la camisa del K. David Harrison. So we're going to say that it is his camisa. So a lot of people think, oh, well, David, that's a man. I'm going to say suyo, right? That's incorrect because we're talking about the t-shirt, la camisa. So we're actually going to say suya, because it agrees with camisa, okay? I want you to take a moment. I want you to pause your audio and give numbers 3, 4, and 5 a try for me, please. Okay, now that you had a second to try these, let's take a look. Number 3, son tus pantalones. These are your pants. So in this case, we should say that son tuyos. They're yours because subject here was tu, you, and pantalones are plural, so it should be tuyos. Number 4, es mi chaqueta. It's my jacket, so we're going to say es mía. Whether I'm a man or a woman, I'm still going to say mía because I'm talking about chaqueta, which is feminine. And then number 5, son las gafas de sol de Guillermo de Anda. So these are Guillermo de Anda's sunglasses. They are his. Notice we say suyas because we're referring back to the gafas, which are feminine plural. Okay, so very careful with those. As we continue on in this chapter, this next area refers to the shopping and retail environment, and I have a little series of things I want you to read through again. Notice they're numbered 1, 2, so on and so forth. So we'll start here with 1. We're going to read from left to right. So we see, buenas tardes, señorita. ¿En qué puedo servirle? So, good afternoon, miss. How may I help you? Obviously, this is the woman who works in the store, and this is the customer, la cliente. She says back, well, buenas tardes. Good afternoon. ¿Puedo probarme esta blusa de seda? May I try on this silk blouse? And the sales lady says, well, claro que sí, of course. Pruébesela, try it on. Es preciosa y hace juego con sus ojos. So it's precious and hace juego con. Literally, it does a game with your eyes, or we might say it goes well with your eyes. Number 2, so now she's come out of the dressing room and she says, oh, ¿cómo me queda? How does it fit me? ¿Cómo me queda? No sé si es mi talla. I don't know if it's my size. Yo uso la 36. I don't know if it's my size. I use a 36. And the sales lady says, ay, le queda divinamente. It fits you divinely or perfectly. Y con esos pantalones de lana está de última moda. And with those pants of lana, it's going to be, they're just the greatest fashion, of the most recent fashion, very stylish, you might say. As you continue reading, number 3, the client wonders, she says, well, ese es el precio? Is that the price? Oh, no está en oferta? It's not on sale? Me gusta mucho. I like it a lot, pero me parece un poco cara. I really like it, but it seems a little pricey, a little expensive to me. And the woman says, well, le puedo hacer un descuento del 10%. Hoy tenemos unas rebajas fenomenales. Es una ganga. So she says, well, I can do a discount for you of 10%. Descuento, discount, and por ciento, percent. She says that hoy tenemos unas rebajas fenomenales. Today we have some markdowns that are phenomenal, and es una ganga. It's a steal. It's a great deal. And she says, well, okay. ¿Cuánto le debo? How much do I owe you? And the woman says here that son 50 pesos. It's 50 pesos. And she asks, ¿Quiere pagar en efectivo? Do you want to pay in efectivo, in cash? O con tarjeta de crédito, or with a card of credit, a credit card. And the woman says, oh, pago con Visa. I'm going to pay with a Visa. Okay, so we keep moving on, and she's on into another store now, talking to another salesperson, and she says, well, ¿Puedo probarme estos zapatos verdes? Can I try on these green shoes? And he says, ¿Esos con tacón? Those with the heel? And she says, sí, por favor. Yes, please. And he says that esos zapatos son muy populares. Those shoes are super popular. ¿En cuál es su talla? What's your size? And she says, well, uso el número 39. I wear a size 39, or number 39. He says, lo siento, oh no, I'm sorry. Solo los tengo en el número 38. I'm so sorry, but I only have them in size 38. Oh gosh. And she says, okay, well, voy a probármelos de todos modos. I'm going to try them on anyway. And then she says, ay, me quedan muy pequeños. Oh no, they fit me really smallly. They're tight on me. And he says back, traje también los mismos zapatos en el número 39, pero son rojos. He says, well, I bought the exact same size shoes, or the exact same shoes in a size 39, the size that she needs, but they're rojos, they're red. She says, no thanks. Quería los verdes porque van bien con la blusa que acabo de comprar. No me gustan los rojos. So no thanks. I wanted the green ones porque van bien con la blusa. They go really well with the blusa that acabo de comprar, that I've just bought. And she says, no me gustan los rojos. I do not like the red ones. So to give you a little practice with your vocabulary here, we're just going to look at a few of these. You see all of these words in the word bank we were just looking at, and you have to fill in the blanks here with those appropriate words. So number one, she's walking around and she says, vi unas blank en una tienda y no pude resistir. So I saw some blank in a store and I wasn't able to resist. What might she have seen in a store? Maybe some good deals, some cool offers. So we're going to say that she saw some ofertas. Ofertas, okay? And she says that había blank de hasta el 20 blank. So there were blank of more than 20 blank. Well, there were probably something of more than 20%. Up here, do you see percent? Yeah. We have por ciento for percent. And we're saying there were discounts of more than 20 cents. Que había descuentos de hasta el 20%. So on and so forth. So I think you can handle these. It's just a matter of figuring out the words and filling in the blanks. The next thing that I'd like to talk to you about today are, this is the second grammatical concept in your chapter, and this is about direct object pronouns. We have direct object pronouns in English too, and a direct object is usually translated as it or them, usually. So before we get there, let's back up a little bit. You probably already know in Spanish and English that all sentences have a subject and a verb. Many sentences, though, also have an object that receives the action of a verb, okay? So, for example, in the sentence that you see below, Silvia compró la blusa. The blouse is the direct object that receives the action of the verb, the buying. So the blouse is what is bought by Sylvia, the subject. So Sylvia, our subject, bought our verb, and the blouse. So I always tell students to remember it this way. The direct object pronoun usually answers the question of who or what. Sylvia bought who? Sylvia bought what? She bought the blouse. That's our direct object. Okay. In Spanish, your direct objects are me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, or las. You'll notice here that I've highlighted lo, la, and los and las because typically those are the most commonly used ones. Lo and la both mean it, either it masculine, lo, or it feminine, la. They also can be translated as them, as in the case of los and las. Los would be them masculine, and las would be them feminine. And then there are cases where, as I said, since the direct object pronoun answers the question of who or what, your direct object pronoun can be a person sometimes, which is why you have the me, te, nos, and os. But most commonly used as lo, la, los, or las. Okay? So some more examples with that who or what. Julio llamó a su mamá. Julio called his mom. Julio called who? Julio called what? He called his mom. So in this case, mom is going to be the direct object. Just like with Sylvia bought a blouse. What did she buy? She bought a blouse. So the blouse would be your direct object. So if I were replacing mama in this case, I would use la for it or her. For blusa, I would also use la because it's feminine. So, some more examples. People oftentimes wonder, well, where do I put this direct object pronoun? As we talked about before with some other pronouns in Chapter 5, you can place the direct object pronoun in front of the conjugated verb. It's always going to be right if you put it in front of the conjugated verb. So, for example, she bought the blouse, she bought it. Find your verb, which in this case is bought, compró, and place your direct object pronoun for it, in this case la, in front of compró. You get ella la compró. You can never say ella compró la. That's not correct. It has to go in front of your conjugated verb. Ella la compró. Now, certain times in negative statements, you're going to put the no in front of the direct object pronoun. So, for example, in English, I didn't wear it, with the it referring back to la chaqueta, it feminine. So I didn't wear it. People want to say no llevé, I didn't wear la. That doesn't work. Remember, find your conjugated verb, in this case, llevé, and slap your direct object pronoun directly in front of it. It's never going to be wrong if you put it in front of your direct object pronoun. Okay? Now, there are other options as well. So, for example, if you have an infinitive, a verb that ends in AR, ER, IR, or you have a present participle, you can place the direct object pronoun either before the conjugated verb, or you can attach it to that infinitive or attach it to that participle. And some examples in English with the sentence, I'm going to fix the watch. The watch is el reloj in Spanish. I'm going to fix the watch. So, voy a arreglar. I'm going to fix it. El reloj is masculine and it's singular. So for it singular, it can be replaced with lo. And I could put it in front of the conjugated verb. I could say lo voy a arreglar because lo is my conjugated verb. I'm sorry, voy is my conjugated verb and lo, my direct object, would come in front of that. However, you can also attach it to the infinitive as you see here. Voy a arreglarlo. All one word. Arreglarlo. One word, no space. Okay? Again, if in doubt, just put it in front of the conjugated verb. There are situations, this is where it gets really tricky, where you can have a direct object pronoun, a verb in infinitive form, and a reflexive pronoun all in the same sentence. So remember your reflexive pronouns, me, te, se, nos, os, or se. And then you have these direct object pronouns, lo, la, los, or las. So in this case, you have two options. You can attach it to the infinitive, or you have the option of separating it and making it a little shorter. So, voy a probarme el suéter. I'm going to try on the sweater. That's a simple sentence. I'm going to try on. In this case, the me, since I myself am trying it on, is attached to the infinitive probarme. I'm going to try on the sweater. Now, you can shorten the sentence even more. Instead of saying I'm going to try on the sweater, say I'm going to try on it. I'm going to try it on. And in that case, you're going to take el suéter and make it it, which it masculine becomes lo, and you're going to put it on the end of the infinitive. So voy a probármelo. Again, if you were ever unsure, you could rewrite it this way too. You could say me lo voy a probar. Me lo voy a probar, which is also perfectly acceptable here because you have your reflexive pronoun, your direct object, and your conjugated verb. Okay, so just giving you a little preview there. Let's practice these. I know these can be hard sometimes. So the model question here, and it just has you shortening some of these. The model says, ¿Viste las casas pintadas de muchos colores en la boca? So did you see the painted houses with all the colors in la boca? And this person says that sí, yes, them I saw. So we're using that verb ver from before to see. And remember your conjugations of ver, fui, di, vi. So my ver conjugations are vi, viste, vio, vimos, vistes, vieron. And as I go through and conjugate, did you see the houses? Yes, I saw them. Las casas pintadas became las, so las vi. Las came in front of my conjugated verb. Look at number 1. Visitaste el Teatro Colón. Did you visit Teatro Colón? So yes, I visited it. Well, let's go ahead and get visited. If visitar is my verb, and I want to say I visited it, we're going to take off our er and attach our preterite ending of e with an accent. So yes, I visited it. What was it that I visited? El Teatro Colón. El Teatro is masculine, and it masculine is lo. I'm going to put it in front of my conjugated verb, and I get lo visité. Number 2 gives us compraste regalos en Alto Palmero. So did you buy presents in Alto Palmero? So yes, I bought them in Alto Palmero. So we're going to take our verb here, which is comprar, and we're going to say I bought. So comprar, take off your AR, throw in your preterite ending of an E. So I bought them, in this case regalos, the presents, them masculine, because regalos ends in OS. So I'm going to put them masculine, los compré, and you can finish it out in Alto Palmero. All right, so now that you had a second to see how these work, I want you to pause your audio and give numbers 3, 4, and 5 a try for me, please. All right, now that you've had a second to try these, let's take a look. Number 3, conociste Puerto Madero. So do you know, or did you get to know Puerto Madero? Nope, I never got to know it. So the Puerto Madero is masculine, it. So it masculine in this case is going to be lo. We know that's going to go in front of our conjugated verb, so we'll go ahead and put that down. Our verb here is conocer, which is what conociste came from. It's a normal preterite verb, so chop off your er in conocer and throw in an I with an accent. So did you get to know Puerto Madero? Nope, no lo conocí. I didn't get to know it. Number 4, pudiste visitar el barrio Flores. Did you get to visit the Flores neighborhood? Yes, I was able to visit it. So in this case, pudiste is my verb from poder. I'm going to conjugate it in the yo form. So remember, fui, di, vi, hice, quise, vine, yo, tuve, pude. Pude is my yo form. I'm going to put that here. So I was able to visit it, pude visitar, and it, the barrio Flores, would be it masculine because barrio is masculine. So I could say, lo pude visitar. Or if you wanted to get fancy, you could have said pude visitarlo. I was able to visit it. Both of those are correct, okay? Whichever one is personal preference for you. Number 5. Comiste la carne muy rica. Did you eat the meat that was very rich? You're going to say, yes, I ate it. The it in this case is referring to the meat, la carne, which is feminine and singular. So it, feminine, is going to become la. And comer, my verb, chop off your er and throw on your appropriate ending. You should get la comí. I ate it. Okay? Hopefully you're feeling okay. Remember, if at any point you're starting to get tired or need to take a break, you can always pause and come back, all right? Next, we're moving into a new tense in Spanish, okay? So we've learned the present tense, I eat. We've learned the preterite tense, I ate. And now we're going to learn the imperfect tense, which is the other of the two past tenses. I used to eat, or I was eating. Okay, so let's talk about the imperfect. It is the other of the two past tenses in Spanish. Usually, it is used to talk about actions that happened habitually or repeatedly in the past. Okay, now I will tell you, out of all the tenses, my students always tell me the imperfect is the easiest, so don't stress. In our next chapter, in chapter 8, I'm going to teach you how to know which one to use, when to use the preterite, when to use the imperfect. Right now, I'm just concerned that you know how to conjugate the imperfect, you know how to conjugate the preterite, you feel good about that. And then in chapter 8, we'll talk about how to differentiate between those, okay? So right now, conjugating the imperfect, it's pretty easy. Go back to a verb that you know, like hablar, to speak. Chop off your AR in hablar. Carry down the HABL, also known as the stem. And then you're going to add your imperfect endings. For an AR verb, your endings are aba, abas, aba, abamos, with an accent on the first A, abais, and aban. So you can throw those on there. So you end up with a big long word. Hablaba, I used to talk. Hablabas, you used to talk. Hablaba, he or she used to talk. Hablábamos, we used to talk. Hablabais, you all in Spain used to talk. And hablaban, they or you all used to talk. I want you to give this verb a try. Now, this is the verb mirar, to watch. I want you to tell me, I used to watch, you used to watch, he or she used to watch, using the imperfect. So take a moment, pause your audio, and give these a try for me, please. All right, now that you've had a second to try, we're going to start with our verb mirar. We're going to chop off our AR. We're going to carry down the stem, the MIR, and we're going to add our appropriate endings. Miraba, mirabas, miraba, mirábamos, mirabais, and miraban. Okay? You may imagine that an ER verb is pretty similar. So now let's look at the imperfect endings for an ER or IR verb, which fortunately, like the preterite, are the same. So you just have to memorize two sets of endings, the ER, IR, and then the AR. So, comer, chop off your ER. Come on down, bring down the COM. And then add your imperfect endings, which you see in blue here. Your imperfect endings are ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, and ian. I want you to try now those same endings using the verb beber. So pause your audio, give this one a try. All right, so with beber, we're chopping off our ER in beber. We're carrying down the beb, B-E-B. And now we're adding our endings on there. Ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, and ian. So, bebía, I used to drink. Bebías, you used to drink. Bebía, he or she used to drink. Bebíamos, we used to drink. Bebíais, you all in Spain used to drink. And bebían, they used to drink. So on and so forth. Those are your imperfect endings. And I can hear what you're saying. Oh my gosh, Mr. Harrison, I understand this, but I know these are the regular ones. I know there has to be irregulars. And you're correct. There are only 3 irregulars, though, in the imperfect tense. And these verbs are pretty much irregular in every tense. You have ir, to go, ser, to be, and ver, to see. These are your 3 verbs. So, as you go to conjugate these, ir becomes iba, ser becomes era, and ver becomes veía. You can see that ver is not that irregular. It really just lost the R. And then they added their imperfect endings. Ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, ian. So you get veía, I used to see, veías, you used to see, veía, so on and so forth. Notice with all of these in the imperfect that the yo form and the el, ella, usted are the same. So you just have to look at the context to understand if you're saying I used to blah, 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 or he or she used to blah, blah, blah. The rest of these are pretty simple to memorize as well. Ser becomes era, eras, era, éramos, erais, and eran. Ir becomes iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, ibais, and iban. Again, if you can memorize the yo form, ir, ser, and ver becomes iba, era, veía. You can unlock all the others. So I want to give you a chance to practice with these, just a smidge. Number 1 says, cuando ser joven. You're trying to say when I was little, when I was young. or actually when he was young, or she was young, talking about Constanza Cerruti. Sorry, I should probably read the whole sentence. Cuando ser joven, when she was young, Constanza Cerruti vivir en Buenos Aires. So when she was young, Constanza Cerruti used to live in Buenos Aires. Let's start with vivir. It's easy, it's a normal verb. So take vivir, chop off your IR, and add your imperfect ending. So you end up with ia. So when she was young, ser, we know, becomes era, and we need the el, ella, usted form, which also happens to be era. So when she was young, cuando era joven, Constanza Cerruti vivía en Buenos Aires. Number 2, en la escuela le gustar los cursos como la historia y la antropología. So when she was in school, still referring back to Constanza Cerruti, when she was in school, she used to like courses such as history and anthropology. So she used to like, we're going to take gustar, and we need to conjugate it in the third person singular form. Technically, sorry, the third person plural form, because we have cursos here, multiple courses. So just like if I like one thing, I said me gusta. If I like more than one, I said me gustan. It's the same thing here, except now our endings are in the imperfect. So you have gustaba and gustaban. So we need to say that she used to like, le gustaban los cursos como la historia y la antropología. Okay, I think that you can handle these, all right? So very quickly, I just want to share one last thing with you. You're going to learn more about this next week, but the big thing I want you to know right now is that we have two past tenses in Spanish. There's the preterite and there's the imperfect. Make sure you know how to conjugate both of them. Make sure you know in general that the preterite is used for specific actions in the past with a specified beginning and a specified end. For example, esta mañana mi despertador sonó a las 7. This morning my alarm clock sonó, it sounded, it went off at 7, which is true actually. And the imperfect usually refers to actions and processes that are in progress or habitual in the past. So todos los sábados salíamos a bailar. Every Saturday we used to go out dancing. Siempre había mucha gente there. Always used to be tons of people there. There's always people there. So again, specific actions in the past or ongoing actions in the past. For now, make sure you know that. Make sure you know how to conjugate these. Brush up on those. Feel really good about that. And next week in Chapter 8, we'll delve more into understanding these. Okay, so we've come full circle. You should now be able to identify articles of clothing and accessories, communicate about shopping experiences, describe ongoing and habitual actions and feelings in the past using the imperfect tense, utilize stressed possessive adjectives and pronouns in written and spoken speech, demonstrate understanding of irregular verbs in the preterite, and create sentences using direct object pronouns to avoid redundancy. Guys, thank you as always for listening. I hope that you all are enjoying the class so far, and if at any point you have any questions, remember you can always reach out to me. My email is mtharrison@pstcc.edu. Have a wonderful day, everyone.